What is up, and welcome in to the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. I'm your host, Ezra McCann, and I'm joined as always by my outstanding co-host. What a team. He's a Chicago Public League legend. He's a Simeon legend. He's a Grambling State legend. He played second base for the Tigers back in the day. He was all swag. It's Brandon Williams, a.k.a. Coach Smoke. And we've got the NFL draft analyst for NBC Sports Chicago.com, or I guess NBC Sports Chicago, but you can catch his work at NBCSportsChicago.com and the My Team Zap. He's our GM. He's Glenn Morgan. Gentlemen, what's going on? How you guys doing?
Doing good.
It's been a while, man. It's good to see you and hear your voices.
Yeah, man. We tried to go. I got the 19.
Hey, man, that happens, man.
Then I come back. Then I go out of town. It's just like
I understand. What you're saying is it's like our programming is like the summer programming on TV. Spotty.
Spotty.
That's all right, though.
That's all right, though. It's a little tight.
We show up when we need to.
Mm-hmm.
We show up when we need to. Smoke is off the the health and safety protocols list.
Yeah,
so that's a good thing. Protocol. And as we record, we have a new NBA champion.
Yes,
the Golden State Warriors took out the Celtics 4-2, Game 6 in Boston, and this is their fourth title in 8 years for that group. That core of Steph and Draymond and Klay Thompson,
and Iggy.
Iguodala's been there the entire time. That's right. That's right. Even though he was, he wasn't.
He made a few
major factor.
He was coaching.
He got all 4 wings.
Yeah.
He got all 4 rings.
Yeah. Did you see him? And I don't know if you guys caught late. He got on Gary Payton.
Coaching him up. I was like, way to go, coach.
Hey, man. Meanwhile, they were up by like 15 at that point. But he stayed on them. But
hey, let's not forget
2 dumb fouls.
Yes, it did. Let's not forget Steve Kerr's got his 9th ring.
Yeah,
5 as a player and 4 as a coach. He's up there in Phil Jackson territory, right?
Yeah.
Him,
right?
Him and
but no, he's 4 behind Phil.
Him and Bill Russell
got 13 total, right?
I think Phil has
11 as a coach,
and
2 as a player.
Right.
And that's crazy.
Russell he only had the 11. One of those was a player. He was a player coach, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what about Riley? Riley had one of the player on the Lakers.
Yeah, he had a Laker. Yeah, and
then he won.
He won 4. No, he won 5. He won 5.
He won 5.
4 as the head coach, though.
4 as head coach.
The Lakers,
and
1 with the Heat as well. So
that's
5.
Right. That
5
first,
as a head coach, though.
No. Well, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
With the Heat, that's right.
It's Miami.
Right.
So,
I was gonna say that first
as a GM or as a president, you got to throw those in there now, right?
2,
3, no 2, 3, no 2.
Right, 2. Right. He's been to the finals a bunch of times. Yeah.
Well, no, one as a
2. LeBron and them.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
because he was the president / GM. So 2 there, 1 coaching, Shaq and
that's right.
Wade,
that's right.
And then 1 as a player, and then 1 as an assistant coach, and then 4 as a head coach. So he's at what?
Man, when you say it like that, it's like what Phil and Kerr did is nothing if you really look at that. Like
Phil couldn't hack it as a front office guy.
No.
And Kerr was a GM in Phoenix too.
In Phoenix, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But what about Mr. Clutch then? Because he won 1 as a player. How many as a GM?
He won
8.
Who that? Jerry West.
Remember? Yeah. We learned in winning time that he technically was not the general manager that first year.
Oh, right. Okay, right. So,
Bill Sharman was.
So 3 to 4.
So 4 with Magic,
and one as a player. So that's 5.
That's 5. He won.
He got the
he
three,
got 3
with Shaq, right?
with Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah, so
right.
8.
Was he still the GM when Kobe won with Powell? Or
I don't think. No, he
was
left
in Memphis
by then.
at that point.
I think he was in Memphis by then. I think, yeah.
Or he was in Golden State.
But
for
he
a
was
bit,
Golden
too.
State.
He helped put them together, but I don't think he was there
he was
when they
gone
won.
at that time. Okay,
Right.
Okay.
I think, or he was like a consultant or something like that.
Yeah.
That's incredible. It's like you got to stop and think for a moment. You got like maybe less than 10 guys over the span of our lifetime that have been responsible for winning all these championships.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal. I have to do some more research into that.
That's real. Hey, shout out to Boston's coach.
Ime
Udoka.
Yeah, phenomenal job.
Shout out to him, by the way. I know he was finished on the losing side, but he's winning at life.
Yes.
Hey, he's winning. Yes, he is. I was about to say
he's winning at life.
He's winning at life. And listeners, I'm sure you know what we're talking about.
Got his team to the NBA Finals. Yeah. He's married to my lifelong crush.
Who's he married to?
Neil Long. That's what I'll say. He's winning at life.
Winning at life.
Yeah, you talking about basketball. I'm talking about women with
him. Man, I don't think I like him now.
He's going to be all right.
That was part of the reason I didn't want Boston to win too. Though I was hating.
I give him much kudos. I like to just shake his hand.
Man, he is.
But seriously, what Boston was up in this series 2-1, right?
1-0, 1-0, and then 2-1.
They took game 1.
Yeah.
They took game 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Came back. They took a 2-1 lead in the series.
Right.
And then what happened to these guys?
Got exposed. No ball handlers.
To me, it was they had 2 hot quarters in this series, and that's the 2 games they won. Quite honestly, game 1, the Warriors was winning that game pretty easily, and then Boston went outrageous in the 4th quarter and took the game.
Right.
And then they had a great start in game 3. And I mean, Warriors end up coming back, but they held on to win. Outside of that, like GM said, they were terrible with ball control. Yeah. They were just awful, man. They turned them turnovers, and the Warriors made them pay every single time.
Pretty much.
Like it was. They couldn't handle the ball. No true point guard.
Yeah, it's weird because Smart didn't handle. I thought Smart should have handled the ball more, but he didn't. I don't know if because he wasn't completely healthy, because I think he was struggling with leg injury, especially like groin and thigh and all that stuff and strains and stuff. I think he struggled. But I'm like, man, and I know those other guys can handle the ball, the wings, Brown and Tatum can handle the ball, but not in a playmaking role. And those guys just weren't. They were turning the ball over. They're making plays for the other team. They're the anti-playmakers for their teams in a lot of respects. Now they can get their own, no problem for the most part. But and they fell into especially tonight. If you watch tonight's game, they fell into so many routine. Like if I go here and I get double, I'm gonna pass it out right here. And Golden State was just beating them to where the ball was going to be. Like, okay, I know you're gonna kick it back out to the top of the key, and they just getting into the passing lanes the whole time and just making them turn the ball over. And they just sometimes they held on to the ball trying to make the plays. It's like, dude, you hold on to the ball because a team like Golden State with their defense, they're going to get on you. You got to keep moving the ball. You got to do what Golden State was doing to them, because both teams were their D was tenacious. Both teams were probably 2 of the better defensive teams, consistently, and maybe Miami when healthy throughout this whole playoffs. And that's how Boston got to the finals, because that's how they turned the whole season around, because of their defense and their commitment to it. But it just looked to me like Golden State's offensive system was better than Boston's. Like Boston, a little bit better system, maybe one more playmaker. Maybe it's maybe it goes 7, maybe they win it. I don't know. But Golden State, it's like, no, dude, that their offense is just it's too versatile. It's so it keeps moving. It wasn't stagnant. You got everybody can take a shot wherever. Everyone's setting picks, and everyone can shoot off that pick. It's difficult to guard that, for an entire series. You got Porter making shots. You got Poole making shots. You got Wiggins hitting shots. You got Draymond was draining it from outside today, and Clay sucked. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
So I just think that their offensive system overall, and them being used to it, and those guys running it, they just ran it better. And Boston didn't have the playmakers. And you look at Golden State, Steph can handle the ball, Draymond can handle the ball. And these guys are used to handling the ball. That's what they've been doing. That's how they've been champions. And these guys were not used to having to be playmakers for the entire team at this type of a level when it comes to championship level, and it cost them down the stretch.
One thing that really stood out to me, and like just watching Boston throughout the playoffs, they have been very physical on defense. What they haven't faced is a team that was going to be just as physical on defense as them. And that's what the Warriors did to them. And they folded in my eyes. They folded. And all Boston has done in the playoffs has been hot from three. And you can't get into a 3-point contest with the Warriors.
No.
But that's been how they've been winning. That's why they had so many blowout wins and so many blowout losses. They really have been, outside of Brooklyn that they swept, in those games were all close. All the other series were like this.
Up and down. Right.
And now they finally ran into the first team they played that was actually 100% healthy.
Yeah.
And not going through chaos like Brooklyn.
Right.
We can say they 100% because that was just a chaotic situation. And two, a team that was going to be just as physical. The Warriors don't seem like they're a physical team, but they were like, Draymond was a nuisance. Like, he just was an issue, just in every aspect. He was a problem. He just was doing, and it was like, man, he's playing horrible, but really he was just being disruptive to the flow of the game.
Yep.
And that really bothered Boston. They like I say, to me, they really had two hot quarters in this series that propelled them to win 2 games. Other than that, they were thoroughly outplayed. All they want to do is shoot threes. I mean, Tatum, like, literally you shot over 45% from 3 and under, I want to say 35% from 2. That's insane. That's insane.
Well, he was forcing shots when he took it into the hole. He's trying to not so much over people. He's trying to shoot through people and trying to get a foul. And I haven't been diligent in terms of watching every single minute of every single game.
Yeah.
But watching tonight, I'm like, dude, stop trying to beg for a foul. He's falling to the ground. He's looking up. It's like, dude, nobody's getting the calls. I don't know if you noticed. Nobody's getting the calls. So get up and stop trying to, force a shot. And, Brown was probably the most effective to me going to the hole and making and converting some of his shots. And let's give up to the old man Horford. I thought he played a hell of a series.
He did.
I was like, dude, like, what are you, like 27 again? I mean, I'm like, what are you taking? Because he just looked, he didn't look like he wore that. I thought he actually had that big game in game 1. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to hear from him again. He's going to wear it down.
Yeah.
Dude, he kept him in the game tonight. He was nailing those 3. He had like about 3 or 4 in a row. I was like, man, he's going to the hole strong, shaking foul. Now, I don't know why when he was backing down Curry, he passed it back out. To me, I'm not saying that would have won the game if he kept going. They had a nice momentum and he kicked it out to Tatum who missed the shot. It was just like, dude, you had a little ass Kerr. But to your point, Golden State being physical, even when they were being outsized and being backed down, whether it was Kerr or Poole or whomever, if they were giving up size, they didn't give up, fighting and doing the way to disrupt them. And that's what you mean by being physical. It's like they're not like, the classic Pistons or the Knicks or like Miami where you feel like you're getting elbows and kneecaps, in certain areas. These guys are they stay at you. They're tenacious, more of a tenacious, tenacity behind their defense. And they, I don't say they wanted it more, but they knew how to go about executing to get it. And they definitely, because for them, like Kurt said, they came from being one of the worst teams in the league a couple of years back to getting back to the mountaintop. They've been used to being there, and then they got smacked in the mouth. And who knows? These guys may not ever make it back again. You know? So you got to take those chances.
You're not guaranteed. I didn't get in Game 6. They third quarter, Boston went on a 16-4 run.
Yeah.
To cut it to 10, and they were rolling at that point. Got it. Yeah. Well, it was 10. Was it? It was 9. It was 9
because it was Horford and 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
and 1 got it to 9.
Yeah, they took Tatum and Brown out going into the fourth with Curry out. When you were just coming off a 16-4 run, I would have, come with all you had at that point.
And that was my thing in Game 1.
Yeah,
Kerr did that with Curry when they came out third quarter explosive, and then he sat them in the fourth, and that's when Boston went on that 40-16 run.
Yeah,
I don't understand what are we resting for?
Yeah, especially for Boston.
It's to win or go home.
For Boston in Game 6, you down 3-2. This is it. This has to be your last stand, man.
Well, I hear
at least one of them on the floor.
Maybe one of them, because I think what the thinking is that they won't have anything left if we get there. You
got to get there though,
right? But maybe he saw some. Maybe they're dragging. Maybe their shots were coming up short. Maybe he thought he could steal some minutes. I mean, we'd have to ask him what his thinking was. But maybe he thought he could steal some minutes. Some TV timeouts. I don't know. The commercials are longer during the finals, but it didn't work. I'm with you. It didn't work. It didn't work. So if people say coaching doesn't matter, it kind of does matter.
A little bit. Matters a little bit. Hey, Steph Curry won his first Finals MVP.
Overrated.
That's hard to believe.
He's overrated.
Well, I know. Wait. KD won
2.
Won 2 of those, right?
Yeah.
And Clay won.
No,
yeah, right.
Iguodala
won the other 2, right?
The first
one.
Or
the first one. Who won the second one?
The first one. KD won the next 2.
Oh, the next 2. 4. Yeah.
Right.
I got to learn to count.
And Iguodala should have won the first one. That should have gone a little.
Nah, he shouldn't have.
Should have gone to LeBron.
Yeah, should have. Yeah.
Losers, no.
Jerry West won Jerry West won a Finals MVP.
I don't get that's a
losing effort.
It's happened in 2 sports.
That's a joke.
Happened in the NFL.
That's a joke.
It's not a joke,
man. Losers don't get rewarded.
No. What's the joke is Iguodala won it. Like you.
Really, yeah, it was a joke. Steph averaged 27 in that series. He should have got it.
Maybe. But Iguodala is like, really? You held him to like a triple-double, average to a triple-double MVP? Yeah, okay.
Steph should have got it that year.
All right, so with this now, four rings for him, a Finals MVP. Where does he rank all time?
Top 30.
Right now.
Top 30? Good Lord. GM is playing, by the way.
I'm joking. Okay, I keep hearing top 10. My question is, who are the other 9? That's what I'm asking. Because I have maybe just arguably outside the top 10.
Can you name your top 10 off the top of your head?
Well, okay. Kareem, Wilt, Hakeem, Jordan, Magic, Bird, LeBron, Kobe, Kevin Durant.
Ooh. KD?
He's got 2 final. Dude, he's the best scorer I've ever seen.
I'm hey, go ahead. That's 9.
He's got 2 less rings than
hey, look, it's a name you ain't said. That's like I'm like, whoa, and you said KD. That's all I'm saying.
Who am I forgetting? Throw some names. I'm drawing a blank.
You forgetting the big fundamental. That's why I'm like, you said KD
Tim
over
Duncan.
Timmy
Yeah.
D. That's
Tim
why
Duncan.
I was like KD.
No, Tim Duncan. Yes, Tim Duncan. I
So
knew I was forgetting
Shaq's
something.
not top 10.
Oh shit. Yeah. Okay. Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. Thank you for helping me, but that's kind of my point. I see Curry as like between 11 and 15. I see him top 15. I don't see him top 10 because let's go over again. You got to put Kareem. I'm sorry.
I just listed mine down. I got Jordan, Kareem.
Such a homer. You'll leave it, Jordan.
You sure I did? Damn right I am. Jordan, Kareem, Magic, LeBron, Kobe, Wilt, Shaq, Bird, Russell, Duncan.
Yeah. See, I forgot about Russell.
Okay. So I asked this because I was having this debate with,
like I said, top 30
with my guys earlier, and one of my boys made a good point. This might seem blasphemous, but why is Kobe such a lock in the top 10 and Steph Curry is not?
He's got 5 rings.
He's got 5 rings
all time.
He's the closest thing to the GOAT.
He's his
is
scoring.
He is.
He's a better two-way player than Curry. He won with 2 different types of teams. He's won a league MVP, obviously. I think he has 2 finals MVPs?
2 finals MVPs. That's the
he's a better defender. He has more rebounds. His scoring is he's probably outscoring Curry at this point. Kobe's probably what top 6, 7 scorer all time, something similar up there. He's got to be because he was playing with a teenager.
He surpassed 30,000, right? Or he passed
so.
Mike.
Yeah,
he passed Mike.
He's number 3 all time.
So that's
4 of all time.
I don't know why you asking me why would I pick Kobe over Curry. I know Curry's the only unanimous, or is he?
That's a joke.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's a 2-time MVP.
He's a 2 times MVP.
The unanimous may be a joke, but it wasn't like he didn't deserve it that year. He definitely deserved it that year.
Yeah, he did, but he shouldn't. I mean, you got guys like Jordan and the league.
Okay.
But I get it. But I get it. But I asked that because it's a lot of stuff that you said in favor of Kobe outside of the defense. A lot of those things, because Steph's career is not over yet, so we don't know where he'll end up in points. He might not get there. It's likely he won't.
Done.
It's likely he won't in points. But he won with 2 different teams. Also,
who did?
Did he? He got the
Steph
same core.
It's the same core.
What are you talking about?
I mean, but
minus KD.
Minus KD. It's the same core, dude.
Okay. Well, to me, that's even better. It was homegrown because it was homegrown development.
But that's not him. That's management.
Right.
I mean, hey.
Which, by the way,
you can say it's management with Kobe.
I think that's a big thing.
They brought in guys to the first ones was Shaq was very dominant.
No, but you have to win. Here's why the Bulls three-peat may never ever be duplicated if you want to get into the debate, because outside of Pippen, those were 2 entirely different teams. And you look at Kobe. That's a whole dude. I don't think anybody remained from when he won with Shaq. Maybe Derek Fisher, right? Yeah. And then as I said, Derek Fisher wasn't like critical. He was like a nice piece, but he wasn't critical. It wasn't like Derek Fisher and Kobe. They weren't saying that.
So y'all say the core is still there.
It is.
Them winning this year, Clay was not the same Clay, and Draymond was not the same Draymond. Wiggins had been a cast-off who came over there and changed his game for the better. Otto Porter, Jordan Poole, Gary Payton II. These guys were journeymen.
Wiggins and number 1 pick overall.
To me, but no one cared about Wiggins.
Yeah, no one. Yeah, that is true.
No one gave Wiggins
when he got
credit.
there. It wasn't. It didn't
People
send
were
shockwaves
saying
around
the Warriors were losing their mind.
I understand what people are saying, but people, as we have known, are idiots. He still was the first pick in the draft. It wasn't like they just had a bum And it wasn't like he was horrible because he was averaging 20 with the Minnesota team. So you knew he could score. He got lost in the minutia of the NBA. And you thank LeBron for that, because he probably should have been with Cleveland. He might have had more stability with him and the knucklehead that's in Brooklyn now. But Wiggins isn't garbage. And clearly he shows it because he's still young, he's still athletic, and he was giving Tatum all types of fit. He just got with a team that said, hey, look, this is who you are. It's the same thing with Paul Gasol. He wasn't garbage, but he wasn't really doing anything on his own. He gets to LA and it's like, oh, Paul Gasol, you're a Hall of Famer. Well, yeah, because you're playing with Kobe and they got you right. So all Golden State was get him right, but they got the number one pick right. It wasn't like he was garbage. And I get what you're saying. This is a different team in terms of there are more pieces that were moving to help this team along. And it wasn't I think they even said it during the broadcast, this wasn't the most talented Golden State team. But if you really look at it, who else was really like maybe the dude that went to Dallas? I can't remember the wing that went to Dallas from the first time the Warriors won. As a free agent, he went.
Barnes.
Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, like maybe that guy, but it wasn't like the centers or anybody else was really killing. It was basically Clay, Draymond, and Curry, and then Durant gets there. It's just like, this is not fair. And when Durant gets there, he's a two-time MVP, not Curry, not anybody else. But this is still the same core with pretty much still the same coaching staff to some degree and the same management. And it's not, I'm not knocking their championship, but Kobe and Mike, those are like two entirely different teams. Like you only got one player that's the same guy. Here you got three of the same guys. That's a bit of a difference. And they're the same three key guys. Yeah, Clay struggled, but they still got to respect that. And he still played good defense. I mean, if they don't have Wiggins, they probably don't win. I agree with you. Wiggins was significant.
I get it. I mean, I just want this. I think it's a good case that to me. To me, Kobe will not come out of my top 10.
No.
But to me, it's only two guys.
Kobe's my 3, by the way.
There's only two guys that I see that would be the easiest two to move out the top 10.
Cool.
But I'm not going to say because Oscar Robertson is not in my top 10. I'm looking at a list that ESPN generated. So that's probably why. But of the top 10 that I would have, to me, Kobe and Shaq will be two of the guys that I would look at closely. Like if Steph wins another title and gets another Finals MVP.
Did you say Shaq you look at closely? Are you out of your mind?
I will.
Okay. Dude, he took 3 different teams to the finals. You can't look at that lightly. in 3 different phases of his career. He didn't win with Orlando, but they dominated Shaq with the LA. You got a 3-peat, and you're a 3-time MVP, and you've been a league MVP. And then in your waning years, you go to Miami and you win another one, and you shouldn't have won because Dallas should have won that one. But Wade kind of helped it along. But Shaq went crazy. Wade went crazy, but Shaq had one real good game during that series that helped to win that. And so Shaq was a big reason why they did win it. So I'm hard pressed to move Shaq out for Curry.
I'm not saying that's a definite that I would, but to me, them two are the two that I'm not. Of course, Mike will not move. Magic will not move. Kareem would not move. Russell would not move. Maybe you move.
Maybe Russell.
I could move Russell.
I could move Russell.
It'll be hard for me to do that. I say I'd probably move Wilt if anything.
Nah, I'm moving Wilt.
I ain't moving Wilt, but here's the thing with your Curry, and this is the case for Curry. Curry changed the game. How the game was
and I was going to get to that. And that's he changed the game.
He stretched it. And we saw it tonight. He hit some shots where it's like, dude, like really seriously.
And he's won 2. He won 2.
Is it changed for the better?
So
Change.
yeah.
Meaning, I'm saying, and what I mean by that is,
did he ruin the game of basketball?
No, I'm not saying he ruined the game, because what he can do is amazing. But everybody's not trying to shoot from 40 feet out. Everybody can't do that.
But I was listening to Leon, which I but he's Tommy Shepard to me. Above the rim. He made a great point. He because they asked him on the Chris Broussard and Rob Parker.
Leon no ball?
Yeah, he was talking pretty good on that to me, but it was asking him, did Steph Curry ruin basketball? He was like, no. He was like players shouldn't be trying to mimic what Steph Curry do. Teams should be trying to mimic what the Warriors organization does. You can't blame a guy who's having success. He's won titles. So how did he ruin the league? That's their fault for trying to do what he's doing. You can't blame him if you think the NBA has gone bad because of his success of shooting threes. Hey, people want to copy and don't have that skill. That's their fault. I'm not going to blame him for that. I'll say that.
Is he the greatest shooter of all time?
Probably.
Yes.
No question about it.
It's hard.
I wouldn't say the best clutch shooter.
Right. He is not. I was going to say, but I was going to take away a little bit. I was giving you, or I'm not giving you, but I was adding to his argument, this case for Curry with game changing. But what I was going to say was, unlike Mr. Clutch, who we didn't bring him into this equation either, the logo, he's not clutch. And there are times where he hasn't. This is probably the most clutch I think I've seen him in the finals.
Well, he did go 0 for 9 in game. Was it game 5?
Yeah, right. But I'm saying, I'm talking about like a closeout game. Like tonight, he stepped up tonight. Like tonight, it was like because he was pretty much carrying an offense down the stretch.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I can't put him in top 10. I don't think so. I don't think you can put him, because again, like Wilt Chamberlain, you talking about taking Wilt out. I mean, man scored 100 points. Literally changed the configuration of the court.
He averaged 50 points in a season.
So what would Curry have to do to crack the top 10? It's nothing he can do.
Probably win 3 more.
3 more?
No, I don't know about 3.
You said to crack the top 10.
You think he has to win 3?
So if he wins 1 more,
he wins 5.
Finals MVP.
If he wins
he
5,
has 5.
He's
tied with 2
with
Finals
Duncan.
MVP with Kobe and Duncan.
Magic.
He has 2.
Bird only has 3.
Yeah, but again, we're talking changing the game type kind of deal, and you're talking one of the greatest teams he was on. I mean, maybe Bird slides out.
That's also on my 10. I look at 3 that could move, and I think it's Bird, Russell, Duncan.
I'm not moving Duncan.
Can't move. Duncan will never move out.
I'm not moving Duncan, and I might move Bird.
I can't move Jordan. I can't move Kareem. I can't move Magic.
Can't
move
Wilt.
LeBron. I can't move Kobe. I can't move Wilt. I can't move Shaq.
Hey, and I know this. Hey, look, and I'm being that guy today. Why can't LeBron be moved? Curry's doing this in his era, in his time.
Because again, you're talking about a guy. I'm just saying, you're talking about a guy that took 3 different teams.
Being that guy today.
He's won with 3 different teams.
6'8", 260.
He's won with 3 different teams. He went to 7 straight finals. Sorry, man. I've never seen anybody do that.
Brian won't move. He's number 2. So
he's not. Kobe. I have Kobe.
I just want to challenge the mind today.
I have Kobe over LeBron. That's never going to change.
I can't do that either.
Why not?
Because this dude took 3 different teams to the finals and won.
Kobe only played for 1 team.
I'm not saying he didn't play for any other team.
I can't make a reason for him to move up is because he played for 3 different teams. Come on now.
I said he took 3 different teams to the finals and won. Do you realize you really have to tell me you understand how difficult it is to win with one group of guys, let alone a number of different guys. That shit is just unusual.
And one of his titles has an asterisk.
We've never
It
seen,
does.
Stop. We've never seen anybody do that. We've never seen anybody. Shaq took them but didn't win. Wilt took 2 different teams. Kareem took 2 different teams. This dude took 3 different teams and was a central piece in them winning. And really, I'd almost say 4, because that first Cleveland team seemed like a completely different team than we should even talk about. But he didn't win.
Well, he didn't win, and it was crap. It was a crap Eastern Conference.
Yeah, it was a crap Eastern Conference. But he won. He went to 7 straight finals, dude. We in our lifetime, we ain't seen anything like that.
I agree with you on that. Kobe's still better.
I think Kobe's more clutch.
Absolutely.
But again, LeBron did it during Kobe's stretch. If you want to make that argument as far as Curry during LeBron's stretch, LeBron was doing stuff during Kobe's stretch.
Okay. It's only 2 years of LeBron's stretch.
Just saying.
I mean, I'm just it was only for 2 years during LeBron.
Right.
Curry has been to the finals 8 times. No, 6 times. I'm sorry. 6 times.
He's 4-2.
In the LeBron James era.
Okay, and LeBron has been 9 times?
In his own era, right. Hey, look, it's his era. I'm just saying. He's
won 3 times? 4 times?
4. So okay, because as you said Kobe's better. So what makes the top 10? Is it about talent or is it about accomplishments?
Yes.
Both.
it's a mixture.
It's a lot of things.
Of both. I don't think winning championships is everything. No.
I think you have to be iconic. I think, and if you're not winning championships, you need to be a game changer. You need to be a unicorn of some sort. But winning your championships, winning multiple championships, winning MVPs, winning league MVPs, being a 2-way player, being a leader in one or more or multiple categories. A lot of those things I think you throw in there. And that's why guys like, Kareem are going to always be head and shoulders above everybody. Your durability, playing long enough. Kareem, Michael, Shaq, those guys were durable. They played a long time. Wilt played a long time. Magic, if Bird had a healthier back, maybe they win one more, I love Isaiah Thomas as a basketball player, but clearly he's not top 10. You want to get the top 10 point guards, he may slot in there, but he's not top 10. And those Pistons, as great and as tenacious as they were.
I think he's the number 2 point guard of all time.
Probably, I'm with you there. Especially after Curry just won this one. But you look at those Pistons teams, look what they had to go through. That's the other thing too. You're how good are you compared to who your adversaries are? Who was in your way? I was talking with someone earlier about tennis players, and my best friend was telling me today, he said Serena Williams is his greatest athlete over Michael Jordan. I was like, whoa. What are you talking about? He says, think about it. I'm like, okay, I can't agree with you. I said, but what happens is someone like Steffi Graf gets lost because she didn't have that adversary. Muhammad Ali is great because of his adversaries, but Muhammad Ali, is he the greatest boxer of all time? That's debatable. Who's the cat now that's always spinning and gambling his money? That's never lost a fight?
Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, Floyd Mayweather. I mean, arguably Floyd Mayweather may be the best boxer. And if you're 60 and older, you may say, if you're 65 and older, or if you're 70, you may say Sugar Ray Robinson. Yeah. So I think when you're talking basketball, and again, errors do kind of get thrown into the mix. You got to take things, because Bill Russell gets lost in the mix. But again, why does Bill Russell get lost? How many Hall of Famers did he play with?
Yeah.
And who else was his competition?
I talked to Mark Shanowski about that one time, about Russell, and he said, "Yeah, Russ won 11, but you got to look at the area he played in, who he played against. Yeah, all those things have to factor in, and so that's why he didn't have him higher on his list. So yeah, it's a lot. That's a lot of factors that go into
Russell. I stay away from. I personally, right? Realistically,
my problem.
I don't believe in putting nobody in my tops that I never was able to watch play.
That's a little biased, don't you think? A little myopic.
I mean, I didn't really get to see Bird and Magic play like that, but you still was able to see them play. Like
this video,
watching their games versus watching a YouTube clip of Bill Russell is completely different.
Black and white basketball is a little rough to watch sometimes.
Ages. We started off this podcast with ageism. Clearly, I see we have not gotten any better with our ageist views.
Hey, I got next year's odds to win the NBA title 2023. Any guess on who's the favorite right now?
The same one that was the favorite going this year, probably Brooklyn.
No,
the Clippers.
Brooklyn.
No,
Brooklyn. No. Philly. Miami.
Brooklyn is 2.
Miami.
Miami is
Boston's probably number 1.
Is 7 right now.
Boston.
Boston's 3.
Golden State's 1.
Golden State is 1 at plus 400.
Because they got some young guys.
Where do they have the Clippers?
They have the Clippers at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're 6 at plus 8.
That's why I said I knew they were high up there. That's why I said it.
The Clippers are plus 850.
Why?
Because they see what they did this year without.
They see what they did
much without both guys.
You expect both guys to come back next season healthy.
Why are they 6? I'm sorry. You 16. I'd be like, okay, 6. They were Phoenix. They were Philly.
No, they're not over Phoenix.
They should be.
Phoenix is 4.
Phoenix won't get back.
Phoenix and Milwaukee are tied at 4 at plus 750.
I think Dallas could beat the Clippers. They over Dallas?
They can't. They showed it 2 years in a row.
The Mavs are at plus 2,000.
What?
Damn,
so here's the list.
Wood pick up. They should be a little high.
Warriors 1, Nets 2, Celtics 3, Suns and Bucks are 4. Clippers at 6, Heat at 7 at plus 1,200, Grizzlies at 8 at plus 1,500.
I don't put the Grizzlies over the Clippers.
9 is the Philadelphia 76ers plus 1,700. 10 are the Mavs and Nuggets at plus 2,000.
I put the Mavs over them.
The Lakers are at number 11 at plus 2,200.
That should be at 22.
The Jazz are 12 at plus 4,000.
That's about the only one that's right.
And then the Bulls and Pelicans are 13th at plus 6,000.
Yeah, basically no shot.
The Bucks, to me, the Bucks should be ahead of ahead of Boston.
Yes, I agree. Because they had a big loss with Middleton.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind putting a couple bucks on Milwaukee there at plus 750.
Yes,
that's not a bad idea.
Might just do that tomorrow.
Yeah,
get it before the rate.
Right. Hey, let's move on to some football and some off-season stuff. First off, DeShaun Watson, man, what the hell's going on with him, man?
Oh man, there was such a disappointment, man. It's at a point now that NFL execs are like, or NFL teams are like, they don't want him on the field until everything gets cleared up.
And it probably should be that way. I mean, you got more women are coming out of the woodworks. What is it? 24 lawsuits now.
24 now, soon to be 26 potentially.
Man,
What was you about to say, Smoke? I'm sorry.
Was 66.
Well, according to that article, right. According to the New York Times.
That's what I said. It's clearly a problem.
I get you have some type of fetish.
No problem.
Man.
66?
Dude, look, man, look, ain't no problem. Look, I got it out of his mouth, quote unquote. I never assaulted, disrespected, or harassed anyone. But at the same time, I do understand that I do have regrets as far as the impact it has had on the community and people outside of just myself. End quote. What? Her brother done lost his grip on reality. That is the most bullshittiest bullshit I've heard in quite some while.
Man, and then he got a nutty ass lawyer that come out and says,
Rusty hard.
Happy
endings aren't against the law.
Happy endings aren't.
So you're admitting that he has them.
Actually, they are.
You can't come out and say nothing like that.
Actually, they are against the law.
Maybe it depends on the state you're in. I don't know if that's a federal, or if that's a state.
Well, okay, everywhere except for Nevada.
Maybe he's from Nevada. Well, the crazy thing is, man, what is the commissioner going to do? Because at any point, he could have used the commissioner exempt thing. And I know he's declined to do so, mainly because of the two grand jury hearings.
Wait, what does that mean?
The commissioner exempt list?
Yeah.
That he has the discretion to say, until things get cleared up, you can still get paid, but you're not playing.
But didn't they do that last year?
No, the team helped the NFL out. The Texans decided not to play him, but pay him. That wasn't an NFL's decision. So the commissioner exempt list was not enacted.
Okay.
That was something that Texans bailed out the league. They actually kind of did in that regard.
What was the purpose of that though? What did that?
The Texans basically didn't want, they still wanted to be able to trade their asset, possibly. But if anything came out during that time while he was playing, the Texans would have took a huge PR hit.
So if he's on the so what I'm saying is, if he's
I'm sorry, I'm finishing your question.
If he's on the commissioner's exempt list
going forward,
the Texans. No. I'm saying last season.
Oh, last season. Okay.
If he was on that the commissioner's exempt list, he couldn't be traded or anything like it. It's.
That's a good question. I don't know if he could or could not have been traded, but the commissioner didn't have to make that decision. The Texans ended up.
I understand that part.
Yeah, I think the Texans thought that at some point they might be able to trade, because part of it was, I think, that stuff came out during the season. I don't think it came out before, because he wanted to trade. Watson was trying to force a trade, and they were like, "No, we're not going to trade you." And it was like, are they going to play him? Because if they play him, if he gets hurt, all that kind of stuff. And I think during the season is when that stuff came out. Actually, no, it didn't. It came out right before the season. It came out in March 16th.
Right.
It came out March 16th. But the FBI, I think the Houston PD and NFL didn't start investigating anything until like November. So the season had already begun. Okay. So the accusations were out, but it was like, it wasn't, at first it wasn't 24, it was like a few. And then it never kept piling up. And so then it was kind of like he said, she said kind of thing. And it wasn't until official investigations didn't start happening until November. So dude, it's just gotten worse and worse and worse, because now Tony Busby, who's the guy who started the lawsuits, who's been representing the women, he's now actually added the Texans onto the lawsuit, saying that they more or less, I won't say they condone it, but they were kind of like, they knew he was doing.
They gave those NDAs and whatever, non-disclosure agreements. Yeah,
right. And I think they more or less, contributed.
Wait,
they were aware of it.
So was he going through the Texans to find these massage therapists?
I don't know if he was going through the Texans, but he was probably asking front office people or whoever, can I get some NDAs? So people in the Texans office knew. And Busby's like, okay, you all knew, so you're complicit in this as well. So they've been added on. And the Texans are like, hey, we didn't know anything until stuff came out, which of course that's what they're going to say.
And that's what got me though, that they're getting like put into the suits like as liable type stuff, because initially when all this came out, it came out weirdly enough that right after he demanded to be traded. Yeah, and then it was, but I'm saying, and then everybody had a conspiracy theorists. Oh, right. The Texans is doing this to him because now,
against the Texans though.
Now it's now they are like being dragged into this. Like, so like, people, do we still believe the Texans?
Right? No,
this on them.
I never did, because it doesn't make any sense. Why would the Texans? I mean, that dude can get you a haul, so why would you try to discredit him?
Yeah,
if anything, you're trying to make sure he's comfortable that nothing gets hurt. So it's just it. I don't know. I won't say it hurts me or anything, but it's despicable in a lot of respects, because it's hard to ignore. You mentioned earlier, Brandon, that the New York Times article says 66, different that he's gone to.
That's crazy. Like, you're a professional athlete. Like, how don't you have a personal massage therapist? That is a red flag to me. That's just weird. Like,
I'm trying to think. Have I visited 66 of anything?
Right. 60, no, not 66 of any, 66 people. Different of the same anything. That's what it is. 66 different.
Like, in my lifetime, I don't think I've had 66 different beers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I've been to 66 different McDonald's in my lifetime.
There's no shot I have. I know I have.
Like, that's the thing. Like,
that's crazy.
66 of the same thing.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh, but it's not. If you saw the Real Sports segment with two of the alleged victims, it's serious, man. They had some compelling stories to tell. I don't know if obviously we can't judge who's telling the truth here. But yeah, it's the serious allegations. So
you hear the stories of him, telling them where to massage him, and it's okay, you can touch it, and then him saying, "Well, here, if you want, I will," and then doing things right in front of him. I mean, dude, that's like Pee Wee Herman shit in the bathroom. I mean, you pull it on yourself, but in front of a female, like, you don't think that's like, is that supposed to turn her on? What is that supposed to do? I mean, how do you not come out of that with her saying he's kind of weird? I mean, I don't see how that's cool. I don't see, and then, how, he's getting to the point to where he's reaching the climax, and, sometimes that stuff may be touching them, or it's like, come on, man, really, dude? And so even if some of these women may not have been, quote unquote, traumatized by it, they were still affected. You know what I'm saying? It is still very uncomfortable. Like, what are you supposed to do with that? And there's the woman who was like, I think she ended up having sex with him, but she's like, her response was, I didn't know how not to. I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't know how that situation is. Well, here's the thing. We're men, so we think a little bit differently, and women sometimes. But the problem is, I think she went to him, or I think 3 times, 3 separate occasions, I think she had been his masseuse. So I don't know about that. But even if you're a strong-minded female, it's still like, I shouldn't have to deal with this shit. Like, I'm trying to be professional. Like, some of these women are like, hey, this could help my career. And now you don't know what it does to your career. Because if he puts, especially in a social media situation, he says a few things, it could kill your career. You know what I'm saying? It could kill your.
Yeah, well, one got out of the business. She said she's out now.
Yeah. So clearly that affected her. Because it's like, you know what? No, I can't. And so yeah, that's a problem, dude. Now, the other issue I have, I'm looking at the Browns organization like, what are y'all doing? because not only did you enable him in a way that is hard to believe, you guaranteed $230 million. But even after that, you said, okay, we realize the NFL may punish you. You may sit out a year so that your money that we're paying you doesn't get taken from you. We'll just pay you $1 million, because if you are fined and the NFL keeps you out for a year, you're also fined as well. It's not, so I think it's like 1/18 of your paycheck has to go to the NFL. So that 1/18 of 1 million is far less than 1/18 of whatever millions he would have been paid, whatever his game check, however many hundreds of thousands of dollars his game check would have been if he was getting paid his 46 million a year like he's supposed to be getting slotted. So that's even more enabling. And it's like, how do you, I know these, I'm sure they thought these suits would be settled by now, but now more allegations are coming out. There's no way the Browns are looking good. And then when you look back at their quote, when they, I think this is back in March, because I think it was like the 18th of March when they made the trade for him, right? And so the Browns organization comes out with like a statement, like, via Twitter or whatever. And basically they're saying that they had in-depth conversations and an extensive process, and that, based on Watson's dedication to being a great teammate, his devotion to helping others within the NFL and the community abroad, and his charitable initiatives and his foundations, we thought this was a pretty good reason for us to feel comfortable in pursuing DeShaun Watson. Did you talk to the 22 women? No. So how extensive was your investigation? Did you talk to the women that he impugned, that he sexually, assaulted or had these sexual misconducts against? No. But because DeShaun has some good charitable causes, and he says he would give back and he seems like a good teammate. Okay, we're good. We're on board. It's like, man, selling your soul to win should not cost you. You just shouldn't sell your soul to win like that, dude. That's a whole, like, there was no reason. They could have waited, dude. They could have went and got another quarterback.
I mean, hey, it's fitting of who it is.
You mean
Cleveland Browns? Yeah.
But they should be a really good organization back in the 50s.
Wow. Hey, let's move on. Another serious issue within the NFL. Redskins. I said
there Redskins. You go. See, there we go.
Goodness.
That acculturation got you. See what they did to you? Get your mind.
Stop that. Washington Commanders defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio got into some heat for
got into a dust up.
he got into a little dust up for sharing some political views and referencing basically
whataboutisms
in talking to the media, discussed why the civil unrest that happened during 2020 after the George Floyd murder, why that wasn't looked at in the same way as the dust up, the quote unquote dust up at the Capitol on January 6th. And yeah, that didn't go over too well.
He called it a dust up.
A dust up.
People died.
I mean, man, what was it? 5 Capitol police officers shot, 2 were killed. You had a couple that, after the fact, took their own lives.
Right.
Yeah. You're talking about people that were trying to basically overthrow the government. Yeah, that's what they were trying to do that day.
Hang the vice president. Hang the vice president while you're at it.
Still one of the wildest shits I've ever watched on live.
Which, by the way, did you see some of the hearings today?
Oh, dude, yes. It is must-watch CTV to me. It has been phenomenal.
Apparently, they had to rush Mike Pence out of the Capitol, or they were trying to rush him out of the Capitol.
And he didn't want to get into the car.
He didn't want to get into the car. He was basically, he didn't trust anybody.
He said there's one one of the Secret Service men says, "I trust you, but you're not driving the car." What is that? He's like, no. One of his aides got in the car and had to get back out of the car.
Yeah, they all got in the car thinking they were taking off, and then Mike was like, "Nah," which was I understand where he was there. Yeah. I get it. That was more than a dust up.
They constructed a hangman noose with a gallows outside on the front lawn of the Capitol. Are you kidding me? And they're shouting hang, and then the president goes, well, maybe they should. What kind of shit is that?
So my question here is now the Commanders they fined Jack Del Rio $100,000 and basically made him apologize for the comments. Would you feel comfortable playing for Jack Del Rio right now if you were on the Commanders roster?
No, but by the same token, as I don't necessarily think that he had to be fired. I know he hasn't yet, but I'm saying I think he's an idiot. I think he clearly doesn't have a grasp of things, but he didn't oppress anybody. He didn't speak out against anybody. He just voiced a whole bunch of whataboutism to show his ignorance.
But he was representing the Commanders.
I understand
in a press conference and said that.
I understand that.
Which, by the way, it's weird saying the Commanders.
It is, and I get that, but I think I guess in this case, just shut up and coach. I don't think you should. It's still a free country, and what he said didn't endanger.
He has the right to say it.
It didn't endanger. He had the right to be dumb. He had the right to be dumb.
Right, he has the right to say it. My issue is he was representing the team and the league in that. It's not like he said it off to the side and some people overheard it. He was in official capacity with the team.
But it's a query. It's a gray area. But it spoke of his ignorance. But again, what he said didn't oppress anybody. What he said didn't put anybody's life in danger. What he said didn't do anything other than damage his reputation, to be quite honest. And maybe what Washington, another black mark, or I should say black mark, another negative mark against the Washington organization. But to your question, if I'm the head coach, if I'm Ron Rivera, I have to seriously consider whether or not I can keep him on staff, because it may affect his ability to be able to coach effectively. But then again, it may not. And that's that's one of those closed meetings. You talk to the players and you figure that out. And it's tough because you're the head coach and you're the de facto decision maker for Washington, because they got so much crap going on in that organization. You don't want to seem like you're giving it over to the players to make this kind of decision, but they're the ones that, and he's a defensive coordinator. It's not like he's a position coach. So he could be affecting the whole defense and the coaching staff too. We talk about the players a lot. If I'm on the coaching staff and I'm a defensive back coach and I gotta look at this idiot, like you're my I don't like your politics, but apparently it's not just about politics with you. It's you don't have a grasp of the situation. What do you really think? And what you're comparing it to. So it's problematic. So I don't think he should be fired, but he may lose his job. If that makes any sense.
Would you want? Let me ask this question. Would you want to talk to him if you're a black player? Would you want to sit down and have a conversation about it?
I would.
What would you want to know?
I would want him to elaborate more on his point. Okay, it was a dust up. Why do you feel it was a dust up? Like, don't you understand? People were killed. Like Like I would like to really get true insight on his mindset of that. Like it more so just me being probably facetious, just like, okay, tell me more. Like what is tell me more here. Like what more do I need to know about you? Like that's that's probably why I would want to talk with him. Like
You wait for them to slip up and really tell them. You want to hear those key words like, okay, I just want you to confirm that you're the racist I thought you were. That's what you want out of the conversation.
Like, yeah, I would rather know. I would know how to deal with you if I know versus if you're still faking the funk.
Well, let's take that. Let's take that a step further. Let's say he is a racist, and let's say he's your defensive coordinator. Could you work under a person who is his political and his social views are 180 of yours, but professionally he's a good at what he does, and he's good at making you a better middle linebacker, whatever it is? Could you work with a person like that? Could you have that kind of working relationship where that's it? That's all you're entitled to be a racist. You're entitled to be a bigot. You're entitled to be whatever you want to be in life, as long as it doesn't affect the workspace and as long as it doesn't affect you doing your job or affect how you communicate. As long as you never call me out my name, as long as you treat me with respect. Can you work for someone like that? Is that even realistic?
I think it is. I think we've all probably,
but without knowing. But have we done it knowingly?
Knowingly,
definitively knowing. That's not suspiciously.
Yeah,
that's
I can't say that.
Right. That's the thing. It's like when you make a public statement like that, now you put yourself on blast, and everybody's looking at you sideways because they like what you said. You're trying to figure out like, who are you really? How are you really? How are you really? And so maybe the players do need to talk. Maybe he does, but at this point, everything he says at this point is almost going to seem like he's, stepping back or backbiting or trying to make it cool so he can keep his job. So is it really genuine? Is he really being authentic? Yeah. Now that he realizes,
he put himself in a fucked up spot because he probably could be genuine, but it's going to come on deaf ears because it's like, you're only doing that now because we done put your feet to the fire. Like, you don't really feel this way. He probably going home sobbing. Oh, I'm not a racist, but
he was pretty defiant when he made the public statement that he's like, I'm going to say what I need to say. I'm not going to change that. I'm proud. I'm not going to take back what I'm saying. And he made that statement more or less. I'm paraphrasing when he made the initial comments.
Entitled. So he basically just gave me the same feeling I get of those people. Entitled.
Yes. Yeah.
Didn't get their way, so they decided to goddamn storm the goddamn Capitol. It's the wildest shit I've ever seen in my life, man. Man.
Just dust up.
It was a dust up. That's all it was. Hey, Glenn, we were talking earlier about some other Washington Commanders issues that go up to the top with their owner Daniel Snyder, and I guess he's been accused, or the team has been accused of underreporting,
right?
Revenues generated from ticket sales.
Exactly.
But how is he still on? How is he still on?
Well, what we were saying is the funny thing is, he had the sexual scandal that the NFL had to take over investigation because he wasn't doing a good job. And then
now
NFL
he just got fraud scam.
Right. But here's the thing. The NFL ended up fining him $10 million because he didn't handle the investigating of the sexual misconduct in his own organization. And then you have the other issues with him, with the whole name change and everything going back to that. And now currently, Jack Del Rio's, that's not really Snyder's fault. But the funny thing is, with all those other issues, and some of those are serious, because some of those stuff went back years. I mean, you talk about almost like 15 years of people having issues with Daniel Snyder and how the organization was run. But what might get him fired is the fact that he took money from the other owners.
That'll do it.
That's probably where they're gonna get him.
You're messing with our money. You got to go.
You know, and
you can do all this other stuff. When you start messing with the people's money, yep, that'll do it.
And all that, but he held refunds from the fans, about $5 million in refunds from the fans' money. So it's like I'm with you, like, how is this dude still the owner, but the NFL still protecting him? It's the same thing with the Miami Dolphins. Like, have we heard anything with the owner of the Miami Dolphins after everything that went down with him supposedly trying to throw games on purpose? We haven't heard jack doodle squat. It's been quiet as church mice.
They're still investigating, Glenn.
Right, still investigating. And then what about everyone's kindly grandpa, the owner of the New England Patriots? After he had his little
he had a massage therapist too, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
he was called it a massage ring. Uh-huh.
And we've seen him out publicly walking around, you know, waddling and doing stuff like did anything come of that? So these owners, dude, they're full of it, man. They are full of it. And not only that, but the NFL, quote unquote, made the Dolphins and the Texans hire quote unquote minority coaches because they lost two. They let two go. And so, because the NFL at one point, it was just Tomlin. He was the only dude. And you look at Tampa Bay, so what's his name retired, so now Bowles is the head coach. But the dude that they hired in Miami, it's like, okay, he doesn't identify as black. He identifies as multiracial. So don't tell me we have 4 black head coaches and 2 coaches of other ethnicities. You got 3 black coaches, 1 guy that calls himself multiracial, a Latino, and a dude who's Arab American. That's what you got. But I mean, yeah, I do. It's just the Washington Commanders. Ron Rivera must be a saint, dude, because this dude had to deal with problems with the Carolina Panthers when their owner got fired. Okay, he had to let his team go.
They made him sell.
They made him sell because of his shenanigans, his Ponzi scheming ass. And then he leaves Carolina and goes upstate or goes up a little bit north to Washington to get a head coaching job, and that's like one of the worst owners in the NFL. And he's on the periphery bit. Like Ron Rivera is making all these calls because Snyder's not supposed to be there making any decisions. So Ron Rivera is the most underappreciated, underpaid, you know, multi-level individual, multi-administrative individual in the NFL.
Is he the? He's not.
Decisions.
He's over decisions. Personnel there.
He's making decisions now because Snyder can't.
Okay.
So everyone's looking at him. He's like the most senior latent person there, you know, and he's battling cancer. He's like, dude, I got enough on my plate. I'm battling cancer, and I got you fools over here giving me stress.
Y'all gonna be the death of me.
Right, y'all gonna be the death of me. So the NFL's got some issues, man. And you still got the Gruden thing going on. I think he countersued recently, so I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to say. And NFL hasn't even begun yet.
Hasn't begun. Training camp, another month away. Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Hey, real quick before we go, let's just some quick baseball talk. We got the Yankees are 13 out of the last 14 games they've won.
So 44 games
They're rolling.
out of 60. It was the first team to win 44 out of 60, I guess, since 2001 or whatever, something like that. Kind of crazy stat.
Yeah, I saw something like that.
So was that that was the Mariners, the team that lost in the divisional playoffs, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. That could happen again.
I don't think Smoke heard.
He didn't even acknowledge that. Jeez. The Braves
won 14 straight now.
Yeah, man.
On the roll.
They're rolling.
And they're still not in first place.
Nope.
They're still like about 4 or 5 behind.
But they're right. But
4.5.
But they're right where they want to. Remember, the Braves were under 500 going at the All-Star break last year.
Yeah,
right.
So they're ahead of schedule now.
Yeah, I'm hoping the White Sox take the page out of their book.
They need to. My question is with the Sox, La Russa. Is he on the hot seat? And I know they just swept the Tigers.
You better have.
and they're going to Houston this weekend.
Yeah, I get swept there.
right.
But I mean, this is a team that had that. But I guess they still do have World Series aspirations. They're underachieving right now. Does that put him on the hot seat?
Healthy. They're not healthy.
Both are right. I think his seat should at least be warm. They have not been healthy. You're right. But I'm like, so what did it have to do with you making some crazy ass decisions? Because there's some games, we always say they're guys like him, managers like him, Hall of Fame managers, and guys have won numerous games and been to World Series and been champions. Those are the kind of guys that they say, hey, they're going to win you 5 to 8 games in the year because of the decisions they make. Right now, he is being the opposite of that. He's
losing you.
He's cost us about 3 games at least this year with some of just his weird stuff. And that's not even going into detail about some of his
lineups, right?
And it's not about so much that the injury. Yeah, the injuries are there, but it's like, dude, why are you still hitting someone who's hitting the 171? Why is he in the 3 hole? Why is he in the 4 hole? Why is he in the 5 hole? He should just be down at the bottom in the hole, So, and the fans were booing. The fans were booing him. That takes a lot. Think about it now. The fans are booing La Russa. The guy that, was part of winning ugly, back in 99, guy who won with the Oakland A's and St. Louis Cardinals. And they're booing him. And it's June. It's not even All-Star break yet. And they were booing him. So we're in 3rd place. I mean, I did not think Cleveland would have a record above 500 before, and be ahead of the White Sox. I didn't think Cleveland would. Minnesota, I thought was a sneaky team that could. And right now, they're comfortably in 1st place at this point. We'll see. Their schedule was a little bit easier, and the White Sox have definitely played some tough teams. The Dodgers, the Yankees, Tampa Bay. They got Houston coming up. I think they played Tampa twice. The Toronto, they played Toronto. I mean, they've played some really tough teams. So the fact that they're 1 game under 500 without being healthy, with La Russa screwing some things up, they're starting to score runs now. So we'll see what happens.
Here's the deal. They got a bunch of games within the division to go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've only played the Twins 1 series so far. They took advantage of Detroit this week. Got plenty of games with Cleveland to go. So, and you got the Royals, where you should be able to make up some games there. You're only 5 back right now, so it's still early. That's all I'm saying. We just mentioned the Braves from last year were under 500 at the break.
Right, but the
we're able to rally.
Problem is the White Sox, and this is something we really need to consider going forward. They may really need to win a division because they may not be able to make the wild card because of the AL East.
Yeah, they have to win the division.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, they at least have 5 teams, 4 have better records than the Sox. Yep. And I'm saying 4 games better.
Yeah,
is the closest.
Right. And Boston has gotten a lot better. They figured it out. Toronto's been consistent pretty much all year. Tampa's Tampa, and the Yankees are playing out of their mind. And with the firing of some of these managers, we've seen Philadelphia change their season around when they let Girardi go. And the Angels were on a 10 or 11 game losing streak when they fired.
I think it was 13 games when they
13 games. Yeah. And his name is slipping my mind.
Joe Madden.
Joe Madden. So maybe the Angels might, get back on
poor Joe Madden. Apparently he had got a mohawk just to try to exercise the demons. And the day he got the mohawk, he got fired.
So he was the last.
You were the demon.
Just stuck with the
were
Mohawk.
the demon.
Oh man,
He was the
That's
last
what
of the
they told me.
Mohegans.
that's my man.
You were the demon.
Hey, I'm a big Joe Madden fan. That's my guy. So I would love to have him as a manager. I thought that's who the White Sox should have gone after.
Really?
Yeah. Just to stick it to the Cubs.
Joe did everything in his power to lose that World Series.
He really did.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They would inspire
But he loosened up the clubhouse by bringing farm animals to the ballpark, and they had a disco. Remember that?
I think Nagy took a page out of that workout for him.
Oh yeah, Club Dub. So yeah, big Joe Madden fan. But the Sox guys, they got to get it together, man. They got to get it together sooner than later. But hopefully, Tim Anderson's coming back. Lance Lynn just came back this week.
Hopefully, we can get Eloy after All-Star break.
Yeah, and hey, it's still early. That's all I'm gonna say. It's still early. I think that's gonna do it for this week's edition of the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. We want to thank you all for listening. We greatly appreciate it. We don't take your listens lightly. You can catch our podcast at Apple Podcasts, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn. We're on TuneIn, or wherever you find your favorite podcast. You can also catch us at hp53productions.com. There you'll find a link to our podcast and the Super Duper podcast hosted by Rob Griggs, and the Father Good podcast hosted by Kenny Stevenson and Marshall Givens. Yo, Glenn.
Yep.
Please take us out.
Hey, like we always say, we ain't saying we're right. We sure as hell ain't Giuliani wrong.
Wow. We'll catch you next week. We think.
Peace.